Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming, my good fellow Canadians. Listen, 150 years ago, Abraham Lincoln got rid of slavery. He freed the slaves. And you would think that that would have been liberty for Afro-Americans. But it was not. For the next 100 years, in the United States of America, in states like Mississippi and Alabama, they passed laws that, for example, made blacks ride in separate train cars. They made Afro-Americans drink from other fountains because they were all signed. They made Afro-Americans go to other restaurants because white restaurants wouldn't serve them. For 100 years, Afro-Americans had to put up with second-class citizenship and discrimination. And it took them that long, a century, before they got their civil rights back, started to get their civil rights back. From 1864 to 1962, 100 years. For the past 50 years, we have been living with Bill 101, a charte de la langue française. And part of that charte de la langue française says the following: it is illegal to have English on the sides of buses in Quebec. Illegal. It is illegal to have English on the side of a moving vehicle that is of commercial nature. You want your plumbing truck with English, it is illegal in Quebec to do so, and you could be subjected to fines. Do you realize that Afro-Americans could not even argue for racial equality without being subjected to a $7,000 fine in Mississippi? Here it's a $7,000 fine if you put English on the side of your truck. That's what you are subjected to. And I say to you honestly, yes, we have not suffered the way Afro-Americans have suffered, but we have our own genteel Canadian version of Jim Crow laws right here in the province of Quebec. And they have to be eliminated. And we've got to get our rights back. When you have a whole system of laws, et je vais dire ça en français, je vais dire ça en français pour Pauline Marois. Je l'appelle Marois Antoinette, la reine de la langue française ici à la province du Québec. Quand une société a des lois comme ça provoque une société qui risque d'être toxique parce que les gens ordinaires se disent: oui, c'est normal de faire cette sorte de discrimination parce que nous protégeons la langue française. C'est normal d'insister dans les terrains de jeu des écoles que les petits enfants parlent juste le français. Excusez-moi, ma petite, parle pas en anglais, parle pas en chinois, c'est juste en français que ça déroule ici. Ça, c'est une notion toxique. Une notion toxique. And I would say to Pauline Marois, we have voted twice to stay in Canada. Quit dividing us. This is an afternoon about putting Canada back into Quebec. This is not just about putting the flag back in the legislature. It's about putting Canadian values back in Quebec. And I would say, it took 90 years, 100 years for Afro-Americans finally to get Washington's ear. Do you realize their court supported all that legislation? And Washington did nothing for a century. We have to get Ottawa back here to act in our interests. And I say to Justin Trudeau and to Stephen Harper, put Canadian rights back in Quebec. Quit being silent. Here's what they can do. Here are 4 quick things that they can do. First, don't turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to all the rights violations that are going on in Quebec. Speak up, argue. You did for the turbans. You did. God bless you. You said something for the English language in this province. Say the same. Don't just tolerate it. 2, implement Canada's human rights obligations. Do you realize we're alone among Western democracies? We don't have that as part of our domestic law. It's all window dressing in Canada. The only ones. Even our Senate said do it. Number 3, if discriminatory legislation passes in this province, like Bill 14, disallow it. Veto it. Number 4, help individual Quebecers bring discriminatory laws in front of the courts. Give them money, give them lawyers, help them out. Last, I would love to see a free trade, a free commercial trade office here in Montreal. You're going to fistre la langue française? Let's put an office up run by Ottawa to help small business. I'm going to leave you with one short little story. Yesterday, a relative of mine came to me and said, I went on the internet. I want to buy a computer. I went to Future Shop and I bought the computer and I reached the end of the whole process, and then suddenly right in front of me was a sign that said, this computer is in a language which is illegal in Quebec. And this computer cannot be shipped to you because you are in Quebec. The only way that you can get this computer is if you purchase it from an address in Ontario. That is what the sign said. Can you imagine a student that wants to advance himself and buy a computer cannot do so because it violates Quebec's language law? Stephen Harper, where are you? You're doing free trade for Europe. Do free trade in Canada. Thank you very much.
Henderson, author of the book Roof Walkers.